People of power. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Mount Fitness MBS, where I am your host, Brother Minister Mongoose. And if by chance you're new to the channel, guys, please be advised that this is a different kind of ministry, and I am a different kind of minister. For more information about exactly what I mean by that, let me set the table by informing you that this is a holistic mind, body, and spirit ministry. Now, I'll talk a little bit further about what makes this ministry non-traditional and what makes me a non-traditional minister as well. I'll put more time in that department towards the end of the video. But right now, I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys are having a great day in spite of whatever challenges you may be facing. Make sure that you continue to stay in love, in wisdom, and always look for the opportunity to help others. You know, some of us are able to help others in different ways, and others among us are able to help others in different ways or in other ways. So whatever way that you can help someone, be it a word of encouragement, be it providing quality information, helping someone by simply providing them with the opportunity that you perhaps didn't have, back in the day or whatever. Perhaps you are in a position to help someone financially. Maybe you have the gift of healing and you can help someone through prayer. Whatever the case may be, keep those things intact. And regardless of what's taking place in your life, those things will always be the shoreline that always will guide you safely to your destiny. So, having said that, guys, again, welcome. And we're going to be talking about you reclaiming your spark. This is where the overwhelming abundance of you guys are. And I think that, I can be faithfully confident in saying that. I do fully realize the fact that some of my spiritual brothers out there and sisters out there may not be at this level just yet. But again, keep love, keep wisdom, and keep your willingness to help someone in whatever way that you can. Yes, be discerning. Don't leave yourself or put yourself or your loved ones in a vulnerable situation. But when you're discerning, that's going to, alleviate even the possibility of you, helping someone that would weaponize that against you, whatever that case may be. But long as you keep that love in your heart, you keep walking and pushing forward in wisdom, and you keep that willingness to help someone in whatever way that you can, that'll always be the shoreline that leads the ship / leads you right to your appropriate destiny at the appropriate divine time, minute, and season. You won't arrive 1 minute too late or 1 minute too early. That's just the way this thing works. So if you're not here or on this level just yet, keep that in mind and be encouraged to reach out to the ministry if there's any way that this ministry can be of assistance to you. But again, the overwhelming majority of you guys have entered into a season where you are reclaiming or have totally reclaimed your spark. Your spark being your divine light, the divine spark that is within you, that's within you. The fact of the matter is, guys, that this divine spark that you are now reclaiming, it actually never left. It never left in the first place. It may have seemed as if it was non-existent. Maybe it appeared, to be displaced due to the fact that, you've been tried, and you've been, pushed and tested beyond all measure. So during these trying seasons, I'm going to put them in the past for you officially. If you know in your heart of heart that this message is resonating with you, then I'm going to officially put those things in the past for you. The good book says, that this is what we're here to do, to love one another, to assist one another, to encourage one another, etc., etc. So I'm going to put that in the past, guys, and I'm going to remind you that that divine spark never left you. It just seemed like it was non-accessible because of the tests and trials that you had to go through. The good book puts it like, just as a good man or woman, well, let me digress for a minute. The good book says that just like gold is tried and purified in the fire, a good man and or a woman is purified through the fires and the adversities of life. So during that time and that season, while you were going through that purification process, your divine spark never left. But it's just that you had to go through that. And so it seemed like, and perhaps there was times when you by his divine will, you weren't able to access it. You weren't able to bring it forth. You weren't able to bask in all that it provides. But it was just for a due time and a due season while you were being purified. This darkness, all of us, including myself, has had to go through this. Remember, this person that we most commonly refer to as Christ, or whether it's the Buddha and him going on his journey and having to starve himself to where he was right on the precipice of death before it all clicked for him. We all have to go through what most people refer to as the dark night of the soul. There's a soul journey, and we all have to pass through this journey / this fire in order for us to get to the next level, which is the next level that you are on. And you have been brought out with not even the smell of smoke on you. You've been in the fire. Some of you guys for years, some of you guys for decades, some of you guys for not as long, whatever the case may be. Not even the smell of smoke or fire is upon you, which is to say that you are now operating even more powerfully. Even more, your anointing has been increased. Your confidence, your self-esteem, your goals, your ability to stay focused, all these things have not just been put in the fire and then they came out just like the same. No, they've been increased, they've been magnified. And this is where you guys are. Let's talk about real quick some of the things that you may have experienced during the journey that again is most commonly referred to as the dark night of the soul, so that this can make it even that much more clear with regards to whether or not this resonates with you. Because the things that I'm about to mention, most of you guys can raise your hand up, you can sit in the front row, you can clap your hands, you can stomp your feet, you can dance around in circles, knowing that yes, that's describing me, that's describing me. And then some of the things that you are now experiencing as a result of having gone through that fire, you're going to be able to do the same thing in terms of stand up, get a front row seat, wave your hand, jump around, dance, sing in circles, saying, yeah, that's me now. So the information I'm going to get, if it resonates, and you don't have to try to force fit it or fit it in and make it force it in to fit. In your heart of hearts, if these things, the things that you've experienced and the things that you are experiencing now resonates with you. So let's start. Just things that you may have experienced in the past during your journey through the dark night of the soul, through the fiery flames. You may have become a recluse. Like you were this guy or this girl that maybe even if you was somewhat reclusive, that was magnified 1,000-fold. And if you were never a recluse, then you became one. So you always had this outgoing, vibrant energy, personality, charisma, charm, and all these different things. But during the dark night of the soul, the journey through the dark night of the soul, you became a recluse. Like you just kind of got in your own world, and perhaps there were times in season where You kind of just zoned out everything, and you just kind of put the blinders on, at the workplace, out in society, with family members and all these different things. You just pulled back. You just totally pulled back. And again, maybe that's always been nothing wrong with it, and totally not anything wrong with it. If you've always been, kind of laid back, outside the box type of person, just mind your own business, never fit in. Well, those things were magnified 1,000-fold, and you became a recluse times 1,000. So that may be one of the things that you experience. Some of you guys, again, you experience, becoming overly suspicious, perhaps even borderline or full-blown paranoid during this dark night of the soul. The dark night of the soul, guys, is all a part of what we would call the awakening. So when the information, when the instructions, when the guidance, when the new you was being born, it was a season for all these different things. Like, there's no textbook, there's no even religious protocol that we're taught growing up with. Okay, this is how you deal with this. This is how you get through this. Like, we're taught about, this is how you learn to read. This is how you put your numbers together to do math and all these different things. But there's no curriculum out there for this experience, not even in the religious books. It just gives us, all of them, different religions and philosophy. They just basically gives us, examples of people, to inspire us, to motivate us. They give us prayer to stay strong, but there's no bullet pointed guideline that says, hey, if you want to go to Chicago, go 50 miles, veer north, take this exit, and that's how you get there. So all the confusion and all these different things set in, and it's all a part of your awakening. So again, some of you guys may have experienced this season of becoming suspicious or flat out paranoid. Also, guys, there was a season of confusion. This is resonating with you. You know it. You don't have to fake it. There was a season of confusion. And as I mentioned, some of you guys may still be in this season. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that you keep your shoreline, the things that I mentioned: love, wisdom, pursuit, and the walk in wisdom, and your willingness to always be willing to help somebody. As long as you keep that intact, you will get there. So let this inspire you. If some of these things that I'm mentioning resonates with you, but you still haven't received the breakthrough just yet, keep going. I promise you, he will not leave you. He will not forsake you, / he will never go against you. He's for you. He's not against you. So keep pushing on, guys. But yes, there were seasons where, guys, had confusion, seasons of confusion. There were seasons that were, that confusion caused self-doubt and a lack of confidence. So, whether you were on this end of the pendulum in terms of, maybe you never really was all that confident for whatever reason. And again, nothing wrong with that. We all are who we are according to the way that he made us. God makes men and women and children who and what they are. So if you never, really was a confident soul, that's okay. But the point is, if you didn't have confidence, then that was magnified 1,000-fold. And if you did have confidence, that was siphoned away from you. So there was these seasons of, total self-doubt and a loss of confidence. You also may experience this season where you became just mean-spirited because of everything that was going on. You became mean-spirited in an unintentional way. You just woke up one day and realized, wow, you're not the nice, kind, friendly, approachable, loving person that you are. You're not that optimist that you probably always were. And then you woke up one day and said, man, you know what? When somebody approaches me, when somebody says something, I think they're trying to be smart, or you thought they were trying to be funny, and you just kind of became mean-spirited. You started seeing the world through this pessimistic lens that's never been you. That's never been you. So again, these are some of the things that you may have experienced. There definitely was those seasons of loneliness and isolation. No one seemed to be able to relate to what you were going through. There was these seasons of this loneliness, this isolation. There was insecurity. There was. You may have also unintentionally became arrogant, because for some of the people that I counsel, when this awakening starts happening to them, and they either at the beginning or in the middle phases, they become aware of the fact that, hey, what I'm going through, or what you were going through, or was going through, whatever the case may be, hey, this lets me know that I am special. I am unique. My eyes have been opened to this information. I'm one of the chosen ones. And so everybody else is just clowns. They're losers, and, they just don't get it. They're lost, and you unintentionally became kind of boastful and arrogant. These are natural potential processes that you may have experienced. You also may have experienced on the opposite end of that pendulum. You may have became fearful and afraid. You may have been totally fearful and afraid. Again, confusion. What's going on here? What's taking place here? And obviously, when a person is confused, the thing right next door to that is, becoming fearful. We've all gone through the seasons of betrayal. We've lost close friends. We lost close family members. There were the seasons where we were all mocked, laughed at, shamed. Perhaps you had your business, excommunicated. Perhaps you were excommunicated. Your business was boycotted and blackballed. Maybe you guys had to lose your job and start different careers, or maybe it just wasn't working anymore. So these are some of the things that, if these things are resonating with you, those are some of the things, just some of the things that are most common when it comes to this journey, the dark night of the soul. See, everybody wants to be Christ, but nobody wants to be Christ. Everybody wants to be Christ, but nobody wants to be Christ. Which is to say, we all want to shine and bask in this anointing and these powers and gifts and promises that He's promised us and bestowed upon us, but nobody wants to hang on that cross. Nobody wants, to have to die, to have to be betrayed by their closest friends. No one wants that. So these are some of the things that we all must go through, guys. If we are truly to come out on the other side, we all have to go through this season that's most commonly referred to as the journey of the dark soul. But again, you've emerged from that. You've emerged from that, guys. You've now exited that season, and you know it. You can sense it. You can feel it. You don't have to, again, force feed it. If you stop right now, or maybe some of you guys have been stopping the last few weeks, couple of months, several months, and you're realizing some of the things that are taking place in your life now. The things that I just said resonate with you, and the things that I'm about to say resonates with you, because you've exited that season. You have been purified. You have reclaimed, your divine spark. And here are some of the things, again, that you may be experiencing now. And perhaps even these words, let these words be confirmation to you. If the things that I'm about to say you are now experiencing, maybe you've been aware of it, maybe even not so, but now that you pause and think about it and these things resonate with you, let these words be confirmation to you. Let these words validate, if you will. Let them confirm, if you will, the fact that you've made it through that journey that we all have to go through. In accordance with His divine timing, let these words confirm with you, reassure with you that you're now on the other side. So here's some things that you're probably experiencing now. You're no longer fighting it. You're no longer fighting it. Whatever it is to you, you're not fighting who you are. You're not fighting the truths that your eyes have been opened to. You're not fighting or battling or running away from or resisting the pain, the sadness, the agony. You're not running away from you're not running away from the fact that you were tricked, manipulated, and sometimes it's flat out unintentionally at your own hand. You're not running away from the fact that you were working against yourself during this dark night of the soul. And that's okay, because that was all part of the journey. But whatever it is, you're not running away from it anymore. You've accepted it for what it is. And you also can, now that you think about it, you can realize that you're running from it. You're being in denial. No, I know, my husband, I know my wife, I know she loves me. It's been 20, 30 years and they're still doing this and they're still doing that. And you running away from and resisting that truth that, hey man, he or she may still be doing this and they may still be doing that. But when you were running away from the truth about, they don't love you anymore. They're working against you, even worse, whatever the case may be. The friends, your own shortcoming. You're not running away from the fact that, hey man, I just was working against myself. I was doing things that, had I not been doing, this journey, could have been over a long time ago. Running from it is what was causing the majority of it. But again, the running from it, the being in denial of it, whatever the case may be, it too was all needed in the process. It was all needed. It was all a part of the process. One of the most important things that you may be experiencing now is that you've learned and you're experiencing the fact that accepting that truth is actually nourishing. It's actually revitalizing. And you're going to work now. You're dealing with that toxic neighbor. You're dealing with your own shortcomings. And you're realizing that when you accept them, it's also liberating. It's also empowering. And you're experiencing this now. You're no longer running from the fact that you wasn't putting in your all. You're no longer running from the fact that you had become a recluse, or you were in this state of fear. You're accepting that. You're looking yourself, either literally or metaphorically, directly in your eyes in the mirror, and you realize that, hey, when I do these things, I actually feel better about myself. I was running from those things, but now that I think about it, I'm actually looking myself man to man, woman to woman, right in the mirror, and realizing these things. And when I do, that's empowering. That's liberating. That's transformative. So another thing that you are experiencing right now. Another thing that you're experiencing right now is thought control. You have learned to control your thoughts. You've learned to control your thoughts. During the journey of the dark soul, you were in this phase to where, hey man, it was a challenge for you to stay focused. Not literally day to day, but focus in terms of what are your goals? What is your game plan to deal with the narcissistic neighbor? What is your game plan when it comes to you losing that weight? You weren't able to stay focused. And there was these times, these seasons where you would be focused for a couple days or a couple weeks, and then you wake up and you realize it's been several weeks since you haven't been dialed in on that. Whether it was how you're going to deal with the challenges, perhaps your spiritual disciplines, whatever the case may be, you wasn't able to remain focused. But now you're realizing that you've learned to control your thoughts, to stay focused and dialed in on the task, the assignment, and the game plan at hand. Another thing is that you're experiencing that lets you know that you've broken through is you've mastered emotional discipline. You know that because the things that used to once push your button, the things that used to once easily beset you, those things are no more. And so the clown, that comes and makes all the noise in the next cubicle in the workplace when they know that you're concentrating, you have a deadline to get a task done, that used to really irritate you. And you would fold emotionally. You would lash out. You would become despondent altogether. Sometimes you may have to leave work, and in whatever area that this shoe fits in your life, you know better than I do when it comes to the areas that you were lacking emotional control, but now your emotional IQ is off the charts. And you sit back and you think about it, you're like, man, when this guy, when this girl used to come my way and do this, when they used to sit around me, or whenever I got this last minute notice, or whatever the case may be, somebody treated me rude, disrespectful, I would just fold. You would just fold emotionally. You don't do that anymore. You don't do that anymore. So you're experiencing this emotional discipline. You've matured emotionally. That's a clear indication as well that you've broken through and that this message is specifically for you. Another thing is that you're experiencing is that, there's been a renewal, there's been a rebirth of seemingly all the things that you have either gave up on or lost sight of when you entered into that awakening / the dark journey of the soul. When you entered into that, you had all these hopes, these dreams, these aspirations. You had all of these things. But then you lost sight of those things. Those things fell off the radar. And now you're experiencing the fact that, hey, you know what? I'm dialed in. I'm back dialed in to who I am, what I'm supposed to be, supposed to achieve here in this life. My game plan. You're back dialed in, so your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations are re-intact. You're back to being zeroed in on these things, whether it was buying a house, finding a spouse, relocating, furthering your career, going back to school. You had lost sight of those things, but now these things are being reborn. And you just woke up one day, and it's kind of just gradually, inch by inch, centimeter by centimeter, it actually, just kind of itched back in. Just like you didn't just get dropped off into the dark night of the soul. That was a step-by-step thing. You just kind of creeped in there. One new insight, one new bit of information, one new drama, one new unfoldment. It seeped into your life. And then you woke up one day and you was experiencing all of the things that I mentioned. You woke up to the fact that you were experiencing those things. It's the same thing now that you are exiting or have totally exited that dark part of your soul's journey. And so you just woke up one day and you realize, hey man, I'm back to pursuing my goals, my hopes, my dreams. Another thing that you realize again, that you may be experiencing, that this ties into emotional discipline, and that is you realize, you know what? You're not resisting, ignorance. You're not running away from ignorance. You're not reacting to ignorance or BS. You can sit there calmly in the eye of the storm and not let that storm get in you. In the past, you know that people were relying on your reaction. They was relying on you to give them that negative reaction, that negative burst of energy. They were relying on you to succumb to their little chicanery and buffoonery. And now you realize that back in the day you had to have, extreme focus, extreme, I reject that, I resist that, I rise above it, I take forth the golden sword of Christ and cleave forth and reject and resist. And now you just woke up one day where you're like, just see it for what it is. You're not resisting. You just see it for what it is. You're not reacting. You're calmly and appropriately just responding to it if and when a response is needed. So you're not overreacting, and you're not sitting there when a response is needed and you're just sitting there pretending that it doesn't, you don't have to respond. When a response is applicable, you respond calmly. But all that losing your cool and overreacting, you notice you don't even do that anymore. Nor do you run and put in this focus where you're going to be so dialed in and so determined, you realize you just don't even do that anymore. It's like you seeing a bag. You're not in the comforts or confines of your own home, and you look out the window and there's a bag blowing down the street. It's the bag blowing down the street. So the clowns, the reaction that they were getting, you're not trying to fight against that anymore. You're not resisting that. You just see it for what it is. This is something that you're noticing now. And you just calmly respond. You've learned, one of the things that you may be experiencing now is that you kind of learn to see the overall big picture for what it is. This overall big picture, most commonly referred to as the matrix. You've learned, you are experiencing now the fact that you can just see it for what it is. You can see it for what it is. It's an illusion. It's a deception. It's a lie. It's a fraud. And it's afraid of you and your awakening. You can just see it for what it is. The hatred, the jealousy, the envy, the false notions that's been given to us by the matrix in terms of how we should live our lives, what determines our happiness, what determines our success, what makes us a failure, what we need to achieve in order to feel good about ourselves. You can see the whole matrix for what it is. And you can take this zoomed out approach and kind of look back at it all, knowing that it was all lies. It was all based on false beliefs, bad intentions, misguided information, old wives' tales. And you thank your heavenly stars for the fact that you can just see the matrix, all this BS about how you should live and what's the meaning of life. You can see it all for what it is, and that is empowering. That's something else. Let me try and speed this up, guys. That if it's resonating with you, it's a clear indication that you've made your breakthrough by way of His divine timing. Another thing you may be experiencing now, again, as I mentioned, a renewal of your hope, your confidence and your self-esteem. All these things were gutted, and now, again, you're not even fighting for it anymore. You're not fighting to maintain your confidence. You're not fighting to rebuild your self-esteem. It's just flowing now. It's just like, you were driving down the highway with your emergency brake on, and you was having to be so sharp and, so buttoned up and so precise, and now you realize you just almost like that car, the emergency brake was just taken off and the car is just smoothly going down the road. Your confidence, your self-esteem, it's been renewed to that extent. You're noticing that you stop letting others, as well as environments, you've stopped letting these things kill your vibe. Like there's an aura, there's an energy, there's a spirit in you. And when you entered certain environments, workplace, whatever, or when you came across certain people, you left feeling drained, frustrated, misused, abused, neglected, taken advantage of, and you just felt empty. And now you realize if you have to deal with these people, if you have to enter into that environment, so what? It's like you walking through a rain shower, but now you understand it's a rain shower. You're going to get wet, but you're not pissed off. You're not despondent. You ain't bent out of shape anymore. You understand that rain is a part of the journey of life. So these people, these locations, and even perhaps your own situation, they don't bend you out of shape anymore. They don't rob you of your vibe anymore. They don't kill your vibe anymore. Another thing that you're experiencing now, and this walks hand in hand with the fact that it doesn't kill your vibe anymore, is the fact that, when you stop and think about it, you've perfected poise under pressure. You've perfected remaining calm. Hey, listen, I'm going to get wet in this storm, but you know what? I still got to go to work. I still got to get her done. I still got to go to the grocery store. I still got to go to my kid's ball game. I'm going to get wet. You're not bent out of shape anymore. You're not distraught like you used to be. Just calmly move forward. All the laughter, the mockery, the shaming, the word play, the word salads, and all the things that people used to do. And let's face it, a lot of times there's people ganged up on you in the office place, out at the football stadium, wherever. People literally ganged up on you. They saw your light and they knew in a one-on-one conflict, that's like a snowball, facing, a blowtorch. But so what they did was they, recruited flying monkeys in there, and there was a lot of people going against you, and they played all these little games, and one guy was rude, and the next, guy was, condescending, and the next person was aggressive, and, the next person was just all around discourteous and mean-spirited, and you would fold. You would lose your poise. And you'd lash out, you'd dumb down, you'd kiss up, all these different things. You don't do that anymore. You notice that you are now experiencing this season where you realize that you have perfected poise under pressure. Now, the drama of the situation and the circumstances may yet remain. Even though you've made this breakthrough, they may yet remain. The drama, the toxicity, the poison and toxic workplaces or environments that you have to visit, they may still remain, but your ability to dominate and to execute with a spirit of excellence in those same situations, it's profoundly palpable. It's profoundly palpable. You know it and they know it. So there's no more getting bent out of shape anymore. You just remain excellent. You remain true to that standard of excellence that you / this thing we call God have set before you. Let me get out of here, guys. I'm at roughly 40 minutes. So these are some signs that you've made that breakthrough, and you're now standing in the clear. You're now shining. You're glowing / glory. Glowing rays. Your glowing rays, your vibrant, your aura, your spirit is so loud, it's so illuminated. Red, blue, and green, and purple, and haze, and yellow. It's just, like the most beautiful rainbow that you can imagine. This is what your aura looks like. No more of that walking, with this dark shadow over your head, or seemingly wherever you go in all these different areas of life. You've passed through the dark night of the soul, and you have reclaimed and regained your divine spark. Another thing as I wrap this up, guys, is you realize that through it all, you've also gained a greater understanding of yourself. You've gained a greater understanding of yourself. When you look yourself in the mirror, when you're alone for 5, 10, 30 minutes here or there, when you get up in the AM, right before you lay down, and you just have that moment of quiet and, and silence and reflection, you realize, hey man, you understand yourself more. And this is a beautiful thing. You understand yourself more. The great philosopher Lao Tzu once said that he who understands the world is wise, but he who understands themselves is enlightened. Enlightened, a light within / glory, glowing rays. You have that light within you now. You understand yourself, both your strengths and your weaknesses. You understand that. And you understand how to go about shoring up and fixing up and overcoming your weakness. You have an overall better understanding of yourself. This includes your talents, your strengths, your weaknesses, your quirks, all of those different things. Last but certainly not least, guys, as I get out of here at 40 minutes, another thing that you're experiencing now is that you've learned, the value of loving yourself. You're experiencing this. Self-love is a real thing. It's impossible for you or me to really love anybody if and when we don't love ourselves. You've learned that. And I can do all the loving and the caring and charitable things on a surface level, but if I don't, and if you don't love yourself, that's all those things are. Superficial, surface level. It's impossible to get orange juice out of a grapefruit. Orange juice can only come from an orange. Love can only come from a place of love. And you've learned that. You've learned that loving yourself is one of the most greatest lessons of all, if not the greatest lesson of all. Loving yourself and understanding yourself. You've learned how to be your own friend, your own best friend. And so if you're experiencing any, perhaps even all of these things, that's a clear indication to you that the dark journey of the soul, the dark night of the soul, is something that you've cleared now. So on to bigger and better. If you'd like some information from this ministry of what bigger and better looks like or can look like for you on your own personal journey, I'm about to give you some information, but I'm definitely going to leave an email link down in the description so you can reach out to this ministry. Just know that regardless of what this new found light and brightness and glory looks like for you, it's imperative that you give back. That remember that you continue to love, to continue to walk in wisdom, and to continue to help others, because others are still in that murky part of the journey, that hurtful part of the journey. They need guidance, they need information, they need support in whatever way that you can provide it. Some are not even in the midst of it. They're just going into it. And just like it happened to you, just like it happened to me, all those things of confusion and doubt and becoming a recluse, or perhaps unintentionally arrogant, unintentionally mean-spirited, they need help. So he didn't bring you through this for you in and of yourself. He brought you through it so that you can help others. The good book puts it like, every tree that brings forth fruit, he prunes so they can bring forth even more fruit. This is why we've made it through, guys. And we continue to move forward in our own personal areas of life and basking in the glory, the newfound level, while we simultaneously remain committed to giving back in whatever way that we can. So if you'd like some information about how to give back, if you'd like some information about some of the specificities in terms of what your new next level can look like for you, reach out to this ministry. I'd love the opportunity to assist you. Guys, if you'd like some information about this ministry and the services that it provides that will empower you to make sure that you are living a holistic mind, body, and spirit lifestyle, making sure that you in every aspect of you is healthy, the mental you, the physical you, and the spiritual you. Hey, listen, if that sounds interesting, to you, then I invite you to watch a video that's titled MBS Service Tutorial. It's going to talk about the services that are provided by this ministry to help you achieve this holistic mind, body, and spirit health and wellness. If you have any follow-up questions, if you're interested in scheduling your initial consultation and evaluation in any or all of the services, I'm going to leave an email link down in the email link down in the description box for you to do so. Please also visit the physical fitness branch of the ministry located at mountfitnessmbs.com. And please do me a personal favor, guys. Please watch a video that's titled My Testimony and Disclosure. That's a personal courtesy to me because every time someone reads that, it gives me the opportunity to highlight him, to glorify, to magnify him, because if it wasn't for him, I truly would not even be here. So that's an important video. It's going to talk about, again, my testimony and my disclosure. Is also going to give you, along the way, or embedded within that, is the origins of this ministry itself. I'm going to get out of here, guys. Now, if you got any value out of today's message, please give back to this ministry. Please help someone. There's that term again. You could start by hitting the share button, hitting the like button for the algorithm, hitting the subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed, and making sure that you hit the bell icon for notifications when I upload a new message. And if you'd like to give back by way of a monetary donation, please be advised that it doesn't matter if you send $1. I think they call it Buy Me a Coffee right now, even though I think Buy Me a Coffee is a little bit more than that. Point being, it doesn't matter if you send $1, $100, or several $100 or thousands of dollars if the Holy Spirit moves you to do so. But whatever you send, give according to your heart and give according to your wallet and, of course, His Holy Spirit. And whatever way that you give back to this ministry, may you definitely receive the abundant harvest that He promised you whenever you plant good seed in good ground. So receive that by faith. I believe that's everything, guys. Remember, it's a holistic mind, body, and spirit ministry. So if there's anything this ministry can do to help you make sure that regardless of what's taking place, your mind, your body, and your spirit remains beautiful, remains healthy, vibrant, and alluring, strong, reach out to this ministry. I love the opportunity to assist you. Remember, Cash App link, email link. I believe that's everything. The physical fitness branch of the ministry is located at mountfitnessmbs.com. That's what I got for you guys. Hey, I'm at, 50 minutes. So I'm going to get out of here. If you have any follow-up questions, if you're interested in prayer, research material, whatever the case may be, hit that same email link. I love you all whose hearts are in the right place. I am Brother Minister Mongoose, and I will holler back. Peace.